Hey guys, it's Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, as you can see in the title, we're going to be talking about marriage, and more so specifically being married young. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I actually got married last December, so it's coming up to be my first year anniversary, and I had just turned 23. I got married the day after my birthday, so I'm still 23, birthday coming up. But yeah, so because I was so young, I get asked a ton of questions about the decision that I made to become married. So I don't know, people want to know why I did this to myself. Why did I subject myself to this nightmare? Like, that's legit how people make it seem. So I thought it would be pretty cool to do this video with you guys, just so I can sit and chat with you about the myths that I do hear about being married young, because there's quite a bit of them out there. So I'm going to be touching on 3 main myths that I hear all the time about young marriage, and kind of just sharing my opinion on them. So if you are interested in this type of thing, keep on watching and let's jump right into it. So before I jump into the myths, I just wanted to touch on something really quickly, because I realize with all the questions that I do receive about young marriage, there's always like one underlying thing in everything, and that is that young people really just don't value marriage anymore. I'm gonna say, quite frankly, I don't believe that young people place an emphasis on marriage. They kind of leave it on the back burner, like, oh yeah, maybe in the future, not for now, I'm not thinking about that right now, I'm building my empire, I'm building my career, all of that stuff. Like, people are so focused on everything else except marriage, and then they get into these long-term serious relationships, and it's like, oh, have you thought about marriage? No, and it's crazy to me. It's so weird to me to see that, because I've always been the type of person that I knew I wanted to get married young. I've watched my parents, they've been married for over 30 years, and I've always known that I wanted that. I wanted to be able to spend my life with somebody that I knew I was meant to be with, and I just don't see the point in waiting. But yeah, anyways, enough of the rambling, let's jump into the myths. So for the first myth I'm going to be touching on, it would have to be that people think that when you get married young, you're missing out on life. Now, I get this all the time, and I don't know where people get this idea from, that if you get married young, you can't have fun anymore, you can't travel, you can't go and take all of those opportunities that you would have normally taken if you were single. I mean, that's so far from the truth. It's actually quite the opposite, in my opinion. My life began when I got married to Brandon. Like, I don't think of it as I was missing out on anything. I don't think I was stripped of anything. I actually think I gained so much more. And so the same things that you could do when you were single, you can do it when you're married with your spouse. And to me, that's so much more beautiful. I mean, I can get to share all my successes, all my failures. I get to share that with Brandon, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So yeah, I don't think I lost on anything. I don't think I missed out on anything. I don't think there's something out there in the world that I'm lacking right now. I actually think it's quite the opposite. So for sure, I did not miss out, and you won't either if you get married young. Now, for the second myth I want to talk about, it would have to be that people think that if you get married young, it was a rash decision. Now, for Brandon and I personally, that was not the case at all. We dated intentionally for years. We courted the correct way. He went to my pastor about it. He went to my parents about it. We both spoke to our parents separately and together. We made plans together. We made proper goals. We set goals as individuals and as couples. We did premarital counseling. We really went through our dating stages very seriously. Marriage was always our end goal, so it was never something that we thought it was far down the line. We always knew that the end goal would be marriage, and we always knew that's what we were leaning towards. That's what we were making strides towards. And so we did not enter this decision rashly. It was not like one day we just got up and we're like, oh yeah, we want to get married, let's go plan our wedding. Like, it wasn't like that at all. We really prayerfully and carefully entered the decision of getting married, because it is a very serious thing. We did not take it lightly at all, and we knew exactly what we were getting into, which kind of leads into another point, that people believe that young people don't know what they're getting into when they get married, and that may be the case for some, but it definitely wasn't the case for Brandon and I, and it's definitely not the case for everyone. There are some young people who are probably even more prepared than older people, and we really did our research. And the thing about it is, to be honest, I'm always the type of person that I'll say you can never be fully prepared for anything. So we could have read a bunch of books, we could watch a bunch of sermons, months. We could have done premarital counseling until we were blue, but it wouldn't have made a difference until we actually got married. And when Brennan and I actually got married, that's when we really started learning. That's when we really started growing. That's when we really started adjusting to marriage and really what that entails. And so I would say that for sure that it's not always the case that people enter it just like willy-nilly, like, oh, no big deal, we're just gonna get married. Like, that wasn't the case for us at all. So the third myth would have to be the biggest one of them all, and that is that you're not ready for marriage if you get married young. I already kind of dabbled into this before, but yeah, so basically I get asked that all the times, especially when I was engaged. It's like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you know what you're doing? Are you sure you're not too young? Are you sure you know what you're getting yourself into? And it's like, yes, 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 and yes. I know people, I don't know what it is, but I mean, I get that not everyone is ready for marriage, and I'm not advocating young marriage. Like, I'm not just saying, oh, everyone go out there and get married whenever you feel like. That's not the case at all. However, you have to kind of take everyone's situation by face value and take it differently. Not everyone is in the same predicament. Not everyone is going through the same thing at the same time. And so there are certain 18-year-olds that are on their own. They have their own job. They're getting it. You know, they're doing their thing, and they are financially stable, they're ready mentally, all of that. And then there's 18-year-olds that just don't have a clue. And so I really get that everyone is different, but in terms of my personal experience, I actually did leave home at 18. I came to the States when I was 18, and so I've been on my own for a few years. Not really on my own, but on my own. So, you know, I got that state of, you know, independence and getting to do things on my own, having to pay certain bills on my own. And while Brandon and I both have parents that are extremely supportive, or families are extremely supportive, and without them, I don't know where we would be. But with or without that, it was still a matter of where are we mentally in our minds? Are we ready to take this on? Do we understand truly what marriage is and what it's about? And do we understand how God sees marriage? And are we ready to show that in our marriage? So, you know, there's a lot of factors that goes into it, and I won't even really get into the financial part of it. I mean, I do know there's a lot of people, because Brandon used to be of this opinion that they have to have everything ready before they get married. They have to have the house, they have to have the job, they have to have the car, like they have to have a certain set of stacks in their bank account ready to go. And I know that people do think like that. A lot of people have that opinion, but I really personally don't believe that. As I said, everyone is different, so don't attack me, don't come at me. That's just how I think. I feel like, yes, I could have waited. Yes, I could have waited till I got the perfect job. Yes, I could have waited until I saved more. But if that was the case, to be quite honest, I wouldn't be married right now. So I don't even know if I really agree with that. I mean, my thing is, people ask me why I got married, and I answer back, why not? You know, like, if there's no real big thing holding you back, if your finances are the only thing that is keeping you from getting married, then I don't really think that's a good enough reason. And that's just my personal reason. Obviously, I'm not saying that you're supposed to just go into marriage willy-nilly with no money at all and be like, oh yeah, we'll just make it work as time goes on. I mean, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that look at your situation and plan. I'm a planner, and so I do things months in advance. I know what I'm getting myself into. Brandon and I are on a strict budget. We set things aside. That means you can't go out everywhere that you want to. You can't hang out with your friends all the time. You have to, you know, have your priorities set, and that's what we have been doing, and it's been working quite fine for us. And so I don't believe that you should just look on someone and think, oh, they're too young, they're not ready, because there's older people that are far off worse than even some young people in terms of their situation at that given time. And so that's definitely what I think. So that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, please leave your comments and questions below. If you have any follow-up questions to this specific video, I'll be sure to answer that also. And don't forget to like our video, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe. Until next time, stay beautiful. Bye!